Good afternoon, one and all, and welcome to the video. Thank you for joining in today. So this is going to be a crash course on creating a backend services with Flask REST API. So what you're about to learn in this course is following. Let me just show you the contents. So in this course, basically, I would be teaching you how to create a very basic RESTful API. After that, once we learn that, we would add HTTP authentication to that. So we would secure our API a little bit. After that, we would add more layers of security. That is, we would add JWT authentication. Once we do the JWT authentication, we would add a way that would block a certain IP addresses also. So you can see how step by step we are progressing in the course. And at the end, we would be Dockerizing the entire Flask REST API with WSGI, Nginx, and all of that, the Docker container. So this is a production ready REST API you can use. So let's get started with the very first part, that is learning the very basic of Flask. Let's begin with the first part, that is introduction to Flask RESTful APIs. So let's get started. I'm using IntelliJ for the project. You can use Visual Studio, PyCharm, or any suitable editor that you are comfortable with. So the very first thing that we need to do is, first of all, we need to basically create a virtual environment in Python. We would do that with the keyword Python 3. I would show that. But before even doing that, let's create a project directory here. Go to new, go to directory. Let's call this as a project. And inside the project, I want you to create a new directory. We would name this directory as API. So here you can see that. Now inside API, we would create our all project files. Now what I want to do is want to go to the project directory, and here we want to create our virtual environment. So type in the command Python 3. Make sure first Python 3 you have installed Python 3. I think it's Python on my computer. So if I type the Python, it would start the Python interpreter for me. So this shows that the Python is installed. So now let's create a virtual env. So we would say Python -m. We would use the word venv, and then what you want to do is you want to name the virtual environment. So I'm gonna say my let's call API env. Once you do that, what Python does is it basically creates a virtual environment for you. So let's wait for a couple of seconds. So right now it's creating that virtual environment for me. Might take a few minutes as well. You have to be a little patient. So here you can see it's almost done. It's still creating some files here. So let it do its work. Let's not interrupt that. Alright, the virtual environment has been created. So if you say dir, here you can see my api.env. So now what you want to do is you want to go inside the API env, that is the virtual environment. Now this would have folder structures such as this. You want to navigate to scripts, and inside the scripts you can see there are a lot of files, right? Now what you want to do is you want to say activate.bat. So if you do that, here on the left hand side API env on the round bracket is shown, which means that you are on your virtual environment. We can verify that using pip command. So if you say pip3, it should basically show that pip is installed. So hopefully it works fine. You can see. Try this pip3 list. This should show you all the list of Python file that you have. So as you can see, we are starting from scratch, right from new. Now the very first thing that I want you guys to install is basically Flask. So let's head over to Google, and I want to show you quickly. So we'll go to Google. Let's type Flask PyPy. Wanna head over to the first section right there. I wanna copy this command, paste it here, and if you see API env is there, so it's gonna install in that virtual env. Okay. Click enter. So it's gonna install Flask for you. As you can see, the Flask is being installed now. Let's be a little patient. So now you can verify that using the command pip3 list. This would show you that the Flask has been already installed, which is pretty good. Now we need to install one more library after this, which is Flask RESTful. This would help you a lot to create this would help you a lot to basically create a REST API with a matter of seconds. So we would come here again. That's the command. Wanna do that. see how I'm approaching the project. First of all, we created a directory, we created a virtual environment, and now basically we are installing all the dependencies first. And then you want to freeze your dependencies, which I'm going to talk about. So now that's done. Now what you want to do is now you want to install request library. So pip3 install request. Okay, do that, and it should install the request library for you on the virtual environment. So let's wait for that to be done. So as you can see, now that has been installed. Verify that using the command pip3 list. It should show you all the list of files that you have installed. So everything looks good, right? I mean, so far so good. Looks good. Everything has been installed. Now what I want you to do is basically I want you to create a requirements.txt file. So use the command pip3 freeze. Give me 1 sec. I just want to make sure that I'm using the right command. So give me 1 sec. I'm basically just checking the documentation to be very sure that I'm using the right command. So that's the command that I want to enter. So enter this command, python -m pip freeze -requirements.txt. You hit that, it should basically create a requirements.txt file in the script file, I guess. That should be the directory. So if I'm correct, so here you can see that's the project directory. So what I want to do is I want to copy cut that file from that directory. I would show you that. I can do that using Linux, but let's just do it using our GUI right now. And what you want to do is once you cut that, you want to paste that in the API folder. So just want to do that. Okay, so we have this API and API.env. Just paste it out in the outside directory. It's fine. Just make sure that the requirements.txt is not there in the script. So we just did that, right? As you can see, it's not there. So hopefully you guys followed the installation correctly. You should be good. There should not be any problem. So with this folder structure right now, I'm going to use the magnifier so you guys can see clearly. We have the project. In the project, we have an empty directory called API, and we have a virtual env, which is API env. And in the same directory, we have a requirements.txt. So if I double click on the requirements.txt, it would be basically all the libraries that you have installed so far. So we have installed two things, Flask RESTful and Flask and request library. That's the first part. Now in the next part, we would basically create a very first app, that is a Flask app, and we would create a very simple REST API. So basically we did the installation correctly. We have installed everything. Make sure your virtual environment is active, right? Once you have done that, let's create a very simple REST API. So let me use my magnifier to kind of show you from what we have. So I'm going to click on the project and I'm going to click on, let me do that. So I'm going to click on the project here. I would add a Python file. And what you want to do is you want to name this file as app. So if you see that file has been added here, right? Now, what you want to do is in this API file, you want to create a dunder init method, which I'm going to be talking. We're basically creating kind of a package. Double click that so you can see that. Now we would create a directory here. Call this as controller, right? So please make sure how I'm following the project structure. So new, then again I'm going to create a file in that controller, and this has to be named as views.py. It's very important. So that's done. Let's verify the entire project structure. Want to use the magnifier. So we basically have a project folder, we have an API folder. In the outside directory, we have app, we have requirements.txt. In the API folder, we have a underscore init method, which is basically import. And we have a directory called controller, where we would write our Flask API. We have a file called as views.py, where we are about to write our first Python code. So far it looks good, right? So let's start with the very first thing. Actually, I would also open snippets for me, just for my reference. Let me put this on my other screen. Okay, so that's done. Now what you want to do is, first of all, in the views.py, which is right here, you want to create a very simple controller, right? So first of all, I would say try, and here you want to import two libraries, that is Flask and Flask RESTful. So that's done. So you want to import from Flask app, Flask request, from Flask RESTful, resource API, and request parse. Once done that, make sure to import also OS and import JSON. That's done, looks good, except if these libraries are not there, you want to have a message. And we want to display that exception. Okay, so far so looks good. Now what you want to do is basically you want to create an app by using the word app, and you want to create an instance of a Flask. This would take underscore name, which is basically a Python. When you do an underscore name, it's gonna just give the name of the app. So that's that. Now you want to create an API. Remember, API has been imported here, okay? API, and this API would take an app instance. Okay, so far so good. Now what you want to do is you want to define a very simple controller. Class. Now this has to inherit from resource. You want to define a get method, and you want a simple return. And the response goes at 200. That's that. Very simple API, right? Now what you want to do is you have to import this, right? In order to do that, it's inside the controller, right? Come to dunder init method. Here also I would use a try catch block as always. I usually have a habit of using that. So let's do a try, and let's basically do this. So we can say from the top directory that we have from the API. Remember, so from API dot, you want to go to the folder that is controller. In that you want to go to the file views.py. Hopefully this should make sense. It's pretty self-explanatory. And you want to import my controller. That's that. Now what you want to do again is, in this underscore init method, you again want to create your Flask app. I would just show you that. So that's that. Let's just define an exception as e. Let's create our app, and let's create the app. Of course, we need to define that again here. I'm just gonna do that. Now let's come to the app.py that's in the outermost directory. Now all you gotta do is basically you gotta import those files here. So let's do that. Try. Now you want to import that from a package, right? So from API, right? And from API, what you want to import? I want to use the round bracket symbol. I want to import the app. I want to import the API instance, and I also want to import my controller, which I just defined in the dunder init method on the API. The name of the thing was my controller, and I want to say my controller exception as e. You want to dump that error here. So that's that. Now what you want to do is you just want to add that API. So all you gotta do is basically, now we would define that on the home controller. Let's just define that API.add resources. We have defined that controller, and we're defining that, hey, do that on the main controller. Now we gotta run the app. We gotta define if underscore main is equal to render main app.run host is equal to 000. You could also, if you don't want, you can of course remove that and just say you could, for now you could use the word debug. See, because we are learning, right? Debug is equal to true. That should be pretty much it. Make sure you have activated the virtual environment. This should say API env. If it's not saying API env, you have done something wrong and you might get errors. You want to fix that first. So that's that. Now what you want to do, let me just do cd dot dot, want to come to the app directory. So I can see the app.py. Now run the command python app. You can hit the tab to autocomplete, and if everything was correct, everything should work. So hopefully, if you see I did everything correctly, let's fire up the browser. Wanna go to 127.5, and here you can see it works, right? That's the first thing you have done. Now let's learn how to add query parameters in the Flask. Let's learn how to add the query parameters here. Adding query parameter is very easy in Flask REST API. Come to the controller and the views file, and first of all what you gotta do is basically you gotta define a parser, which I'm gonna do here. So you want to say request parser dot request parser. So basically you're saying that, hey, this API would take an argument, so that I'm about to define add arguments, and we are saying that, hey, it's going to take a name, the type has to be string, you got to provide a string, and is it a required query parameter? You are saying that, hey, this is a mandatory parameter, you gotta pass that, otherwise it should not work. And just a doc string name, I'm just providing that. Okay, that's that. Now we need to define that in the constructor. Now let's write the code for parsing that in the constructor. So self, now define parser dot, you're gonna say parse args, because you want to parse that, parse arg, and you want to basically get the value name. If it's not there, give a value of none. Okay, let's run the app. So the app is running. Let's try that from the Postman, and here you can see now it says the query parameter is required. Let's try that from the browser as well. Quickly open up browser. So you can see message name query parameter string is required. So that's pretty much, that's amazing, right? So now let's try. I think that's the way. No, sorry, that's incorrect. Let me use Postman. Usually Postman is pretty nice. So that's the format. You have to say a question mark, my bad. And so sure enough it works, right? You can pass a query parameter now, right? It's a required field. So that's that. So we learned how to add a query parameter. So all you gotta do to add query parameter is create a request parser, and just gotta add the argument, and make sure you add that argument in the constructor of the controller, right? That's pretty much it. Now after this, what I want to teach you is basically how to add a very basic authentication to your Flask REST API. So you can see your API is exposed, right? What I mean by that is, if I want to show you, let me provide a name. Yes, you can use it, right? Has to be some kind of an access or some kind of an authentication, right? So let's try to learn the very basic Flask HTTP authentication, right? How to do that, how to add HTTP authentication. Right, so we want to add HTTP authentication to our Flask REST API. So what we need to do is basically, first of all, we need to add the library, right? So let's do pip install. Make sure you are in your virtual environment. So we would add that command. We would copy from here, pip install. This would basically install the module for you. You can check that if it's installed or not by using the command pip3 list. And if you scroll up, here you can see Flask HTTP authentication has been added. Let's also add that in the requirements.txt, since that is not there. I would add it manually. The version that we are using is 4.2.0. Okay, so we have added that as well in the requirements.txt. Now let's add a very basic authentication here, right? Clear the terminal, come here. Now usually it's a good idea to break the what do you call, the query parameters in a different file, but we would do that later or not now. Let's not confuse that, okay? So First of all, once install Flask HTTP authentication, import that using from Flask HTTP auth, import HTTP auth. So you want to install that. If you want to run your files from an IntelliJ, then you gotta go to file, go to project structure, and you have to actually install that, right? So you go to SDK, packages, that one, and you wanna type that. I guess it was Flask HTTP authentication. You gotta write the right name, otherwise it's not gonna be able to find that. Try that. So there you go, you gotta install the package. Just showing you one of them. If you want to do that way as well, you can do that. Okay, so that's that. So you, please make sure you install the library. Okay, so once you've done that, let's add some very basic authentication to it, right? So I wanna close this file right here. Let's close that. Okay, so now what you gotta do is you gotta again create an instance auth HTTP basic auth, right? Like that. So now that's done. Now what you want to do is, since this data is not going to come from a database, I'm going to mimic that as if it's coming from the database. So I'm going to define a variable and I'm going to add some username and password, which is, I'm assuming it's like our database right now, right? You can of course connect to SQL Alchemy, MySQL, Elasticsearch, MongoDB, whatever you want. That's that. Now what you want to do is very easy. It's not difficult. All you got to do is just add a decorator here. Decorators adds functionality to your code, remember. So you can say auth dot verify password. That's the decorator. Now you want to define a function called verify, which would take username, password, and all you got to do is just check if not, right? If it's not the username and password, right, you want to return a false value. Else what you want to do is you want to return that username, right? So user data dot get keyword, and you want to return if the username is equal to password, it's going to return a boolean, right? It's going to return true if it's matching, it's going to return false if it's not matching. Forgot the colon right there. So that's pretty much it, right? All you want to do is very easy. Now if you see, all you got to do, that's it. All you got to do is basically decorate this with auth dot, and you want to say login required. That's it. Now your Flask API is very much protected, and I can prove that to you. Let's run the file, python app.py. Fire up Postman as again. We are passing the query parameter. Let's send that. Unauthorized access 401. Amazing, automatically it added that, right? So how do we get access? So you go to authorization, you select basic authentication, make sure we add admin, right? Send that request, and sure enough it works. So we added a layer of authentication now. So now if you try that from the browser as well, won't work directly. Want to show you. Earlier this was working, right? So now see how it's automatically asking me the username password. So let's enter admin, and now your Flask REST API works. So amazing, right? How easily we added a very basic authentication. You see, it's very easy. It's not difficult at all. Now all you gotta do that, if you want to connect to a database, just write a code to connect to the database. Verify that the username password. If you verify, return true, else return false. It's that easy, right? Perfect, lovely. Now guys, I want to teach you a very interesting part, that is JWT authentication and Flask. We added HTTP authentication, amazing. Let's add one more layer of security, that is JWT authentication. Alright, so about JWT authentication, right? So this API is pretty amazing. What we want to do is basically the user first should log in and obtain a token. Once they obtain a token, then only they can use that token to access the API. So here is what we are doing. So basically first, when the user basically would log in using HTTP basic authentication, once the user is logged in, the user would get a token which is valid for 30 minutes, and that user can use that token to access the REST API. Once 30 minutes is done, the user cannot access the REST API because the token is expired and the user needs to again do the JWT authentication. Let's learn how to do that. First of all, the project directory. First of all, you want to come here and we want to install Flask JWT authentication. I want to do the pip install. So would copy here. Here you can see this would basically install I think the necessary libraries we need. Verify that using the pip3 command always. So here you can see Flask JWT is added. Let's add that on the requirements.txt as well. Version is 0.32. That's pretty amazing, guys. You see how you are creating like complicated backend services with a piece of cake, right? I mean, trust me, it's not easy. Like a lot of people struggle with this, right? So I mean, you just created a basic authentication system. That's impressive, guys. I'm very proud of you. So now let's do the JWT authentication. So import JWT. Once you're done the JWT, what do you want to do? Let me quickly pull up my snippets here. So you want to import datetime here as you know the token has to expire, right? So we will do that. We want to import JSON also, do that. And in the app.py, let's create a very basic route called the login, which would basically verify your credentials and we would issue a token to you. So that's that. Now what you want to do is you want to configure a secret key. So here app.config secret key, put something random gibberish, a long key. Let me put something here. So I'm gonna use a online hash generator. And I would enter just some text that would convert into a hash. So sawmill, I would put that, generate that, so it generates a nice unique hash, and that one I would use it as a secret key. Okay, that's pretty good, right? Now everyone, what you want to do is very easy. So what you want to do is basically you want to define a class called login, right? I told you that it's gonna basically issue a token, right? So what you want to do here is come here. So now if you see the project, what am I doing here is basically this one I would change that to a login controller. And when you change that, remember you have to change it everywhere where you had that, in the app and in the init file, right? So login controller. So the job of login controller is to log in and issue a JWT authentication token. So now let's write the code for it. Very easy, right? So we would have this decorator as usual because you have to log in and then only you can issue a JWT authentication token. Extremely easy, piece of cake. You would be amazed how easy it is. Token is equal to JWT dot, you would say encode. Had to use the word enc. Okay, encode. Let's try that. So JWT.encode. Now here it would take the username. We could just use the Flask library to grab the username. I just did that, right? So user. Yeah, I know why it's giving me squiggly lines, because it takes a JSON. Now you want to give a username and password. So in Flask you can access the username. Remember how in the basic authentication we are supplying username password. So you can say request.authorization.username. This would basically give the username. Similarly, you can provide the password, and you basically you would do that, right? When you provide the password, that is, you would provide the username, password, admin. It would go here. It would verify if it matches, it's going to return true. Otherwise, it returns false. And if it's true, then only it would basically issue a token. So what we are doing is datetime.datetime.utc now plus datetime.time delta is equal to 1 minute. Let's put this to 2 minutes, or let's put it to 1 minute. So basically, we are saying that this token would expire after 2 minutes or 1 minute, and we would verify that. Okay. Now what you want to do is you want to return the JWT authentication token. So just putting a nice JSON message here. So decode UTF-8 because you wanna do that, and that's pretty much it, right? Now what you want to do is you want to verify whether this API is working. Remember, we don't need the query parameter anymore. I'm going to remove that. We would remove that from the name as well because we are doing the login, right? Once the user login, it would issue him a token, and once the token is issued, the user can access the API. So here let's do some changes. The controller, right? Let's actually rename that to a login one. So show in Explorer. Then remember, you have to do the changes everywhere. Okay. Now, where do you do the changes? Sorry for that. Remember again, this would change here. So from API.controller would change to login, and the views would be the same. So we basically define a login controller which would issue a JWT authentication which expires after every 1 minute. This 1 minute, of course, you can change it to 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever you want. But I'm keeping 1 minute so that I can show you. That's that. That's the login controller. Let's define, let me show you the project directory again. So you can see this login has the views, right? So let's go to API and let's create a controller here, which would be our normal controller. Let's name this as controller. Follow the same structure, okay, everywhere. Views.py. Okay, that's that. Now what you want to do, everyone, is basically I would show you. Okay, so yeah, we gotta do a couple of things here. Let's go to views.py. Here, let's copy all the inputs we had. Let's define all of the app and all. Now, what you want to do is basically, this would be our basically API, right? But this should only run if the token is valid, right? If it's expired, it should not work, right? So let's add the wrapper code around here. So as I said, what you want to do is you want to basically verify whether the token is working or not, whether it's expired or not, right? That's what we are trying to do. So to do that, you would do is basically following things. Give me 1 sec. Wanna just see my snippets, because you cannot remember every single piece of code, right? So let's define a wrapper function, or let's define a decorator here. So the decorator would be verify token. Basically, we would be verifying the JWT authentication token. Right, verify token. It would take a function, right? Take a function. Let's define the wraps. Basically, we are defining a decorator. If you do not know what decorator is, I would explain you. I mean, I would say that, hey, please watch a video on what a decorator is. I cannot go that basic in the video, otherwise the video will be pretty long. So we define the decorator. Now here, what you gotta do is basically this would take a token, right? You wanna grab the token from the user that the user would provide. We would say basically, hey, check if the token is none, return that you are missing a token, right? You want to do that. Else, what you want to do is you want to try something. So what you would do is basically you would try data.jl. So you want to decode the token and you want to verify that with the secret key that we had up, right? So you want to do that. If everything worked fine, just return the function. If there was any issue, if there was anything wrong, right? So you can say the token is expired instead of this. And don't forget to return the decorator. So So I guess that's pretty much it, right? I think we are. I think I just want to make sure. Yeah, that was the indentation issue. So that's very basic decorator, right? We would just check the JWT authentication. If it's good, we would basically say, oh, okay, you are all good. And all you gotta do is now, you know how easy it is. You'll be just be like amazed. All you gotta do, verify it. That's all. Okay, let's try out actually. Oh, before doing that, you gotta import this controller, right? So we would go to the dunder init. First of all, we need to import that. So from API dot controller, that is the name of the folder, dot use import controller. Okay, so easy, right? Now what do you want to do? You want to define that, right? So basically we would go to the app.py, again import that here, and all you gotta do is define that controller. That's the home route. So if you were good, if everything went fine, you should be logged in. Otherwise you'll be like, whoa, what the hell are you doing, man? So let's try that. I would run the app. I'm actually gonna use Postman, right? So let's first try to access the API, you know, just with the so message, you are missing a token, right? And that makes sense because you did not do that, right? He's like, hey, what are you doing? So let's do that. Let's try to fake this and see if it works. It should not work. Token expired, which makes sense, right? So first of all, it's basically asking me to log in. So I want to go to the login route, right? That's the route. Authorization. Remember, you have to give the basic authentication. Send that. Looks like we have an issue here, and it's fine. I mean, we have issue, it's fine, we'll fix it. Let me see the console. That way usually I can, you know, type error. Encode is missing one required per argument key. Okay, I see what I have done. So we would go to the login controller, and it seems like we did miss a argument while we gave the encode word. Let me just make sure that what am I missing here. So we have the JWT import, that's fine. We did import the secret key. Encode. Oh, I see what's missing, guys. We forgot to give it a secret key, right? That's the reason it's like complaining. Let me fix that. Let's do this like this way. Yeah, this should because he has to verify with the secret key, right? It's gonna encode, decode, and do all of that, right? So let's verify that again. Wanna click on login, and yeah, we have it, guys. So grab the token right here, go to the login route, provide that token. If it's a valid token, hello, it works. Yay, that's working, guys. After a minute, if you try it out, let's use the clock and see that. So the token should expire in a minute, right? So let's wait for a couple of minutes and see if we still working. Let's wait for about 26 or 27 because we had the time delta for about 1 minute, remember? Oh, 1 minute. So after 1 minute, it should expire. So it's working. Let's see. Let's put the timer here. So you see how we went from basic, right? Oh, let me make sure I'm recording first of all. Okay, so you see how we went from very basic, from Flask API, we did a HTTP authentication, we learned about parsers, we learned about JWT authentication and how you can create a full-blown backend system with JWT authentication, HTTP authentication and all of that. It was easy, right? I mean, people make it so complicated over the internet. I mean, it's just easy, right? Right, so let's do that. You see, token expired. You see how amazing it is, how easy it is to make. Okay, that's that, right? So now let's add third feature to the app, that is the basically blacklisting APIs, right? So if you want to blacklist APIs, let's do that. So in order to deploy your API, right, what you want to do is basically just want to show you quickly. So you have this project folder, right? So all you gotta do is create a Docker file there and create wsgi.ini file. Dump the code, whatever I have written here in the Docker file, and in the wsgi file, dump this code. And make sure in the outer directory you have a docker compose.yaml file. dump this code right here. So with everything that up, with everything what I just said, if you do that, and if you just say docker compose up that actually build, and if you have docker installed, it should basically install the docker, I mean it should basically spin up your container. Once you do that, you can verify that by going to the port 8080 and login. So when you do that, it's gonna provide you a authentication token. Copy that token there, and when you wanna go to the actual route, that is the home route, you have to provide that token. And if you provide the right token, and if it's not expired, seems like something went wrong. Error connected. Let me see. Oh, it's saying 5000. It's not 5000. It's port 8080. So let's try that. And you can see hello world, right? So yeah, this token would expire after 1 minute. As you can see, it's working fine. It can scale up for multiple clients as well, as its load balancing is there, Nginx is there. So if you can clearly see the core zero, if you do it for a lot of times, it's gonna switch the cores. You see it's returning that. So core zero, it basically switches. See now one switches on core zero. So basically, it would do all the load balancing and all of that for you. You don't have to worry about that, because the Docker file, the Triangular WSJ Nginx image does all of that for you. So that's the deployment, right? All you gotta do is just dump all the code that I just told you in the project directory, and you should be good. Now, where you can find this code, right? The entire project directory. Let me actually do it right away so you guys can do that. So let's come to GitHub and come here. Let's actually come to my profile there. You can come to my GitHub profile. Come to repository. I'm just gonna create a pretty fast, and it should be pretty quick. Don't worry. So backend tutorials. Okay. Quickly add a README file, and I should be good. Okay, create a repository. So I've done that. Just gonna dump the code pretty quickly, and you should have all the code. So copy. Okay. So let's do dir git actually, you know what, let me just do it here. It's pretty easy to do it that way. I think should have done clone. So I should clone up the repository. Backend tutorials, let's see backend tutorials, that's that one. And I'm gonna dump the code from Learn Flask, right? Learn API, sorry. So take that entire folder, dump that into the backend. Just do a commit quickly. And all I gotta do is just say and that should be pretty much it. Right now the code has to be on my GitHub. Come here and check out the code. Hopefully you guys would enjoy this tutorial. I taught you right from scratch about let me actually see. Yeah, so basically I taught you guys from scratch about Flask, REST API, HTTP authentication, JWT authentication, deployment of that. We basically Dockerize everything. We learned about query parameters and all of that, right? So hopefully this video might be useful. It's kind of a crash course, right? And if you did enjoy such kind of tutorials, a simple way to support me is just by liking the video. And if you have any more questions, kindly list your questions in the comments, and I would be very happy to assist you. Once again, guys, keep smiling, keep coding, and I would see you guys next time.